Welcome to episode 21 of the Stop, Drop, and Knit podcast. My name is Lisa. I am coming to you from Long Island, New York, and I have so many exciting, fun things to share with you guys today. Let's see, it has been 2 weeks since I last podcast. I skipped last week because I got my second vaccination, so yay for being fully vaccinated. But I have, let's see, today I've got 2 finished objects, 1 sock whip. I have some yarn to show you that I naturally dyed. I have some spinning and some plying and a few acquisitions. So, it's a pretty full episode, but I still feel like it's not going to be as long as usual. So, I don't know. We're just going to see. I tend to talk a lot. So, let's just get into it right away. The first finished object that I have is the sweater that I am wearing today. So let's just jump right into what am I wearing. So today is Thursday, April 29th, and Annie Lupton of Boho Chic Fiber Co. just today has released her Earth Folk sweater. I knit this sweater in 1 week. This is one that I test knit for her, and it was probably the most fun of all the test knits that I have done for Annie. So I'm gonna stand up so you guys can see this really fun design. So this design is so simple to achieve. It has been done with twisted stitches. Last episode, I think I mentioned that Annie got her inspiration. She had actually a few years ago taken a class with Nora Gahn, who is the author of her newly published Twisted Stitches source book. So I'm going to link that for you guys in the show notes below, in the description box below the video, because that is a book that Annie had forgotten, I guess, that she had really taken this class with Nora, and then the book came out and her interest in doing the twisted stitches was like full-fledged again, and she has been coming up with really fun, awesome designs like this. The twisted stitches are so much fun to knit. They are so easy. There were 2 stitches that I had to learn for the twisted stitches, and they were super easy to execute and really easy to memorize. I was a little bit worried that I was going to have to keep referring to like the key of how to do the twisted stitches. Not at all. So there is a very large chart, and the pattern is written actually flat. So you knit this in pieces from the bottom up. So I actually was working on the back first because I needed some stockinette zoom knitting, and I had to actually be counting my rows for the back. So she did it that way, I think, to line up with the amount of rows for the chart of the front. So it wasn't just like knit to X amount of inches. It was knit this specific number of rows before you do the neckline. So I was actually working on the back and the front of this sweater simultaneously because I wanted to make sure that I paid attention to the chart, which was really easy. So you follow the chart for all the right side rows, and then the wrong side rows were just purl. So super, super simple, and it was really intuitive and just a lot of fun. 1 week it took me to knit this sweater because that's how much fun I was having doing it. I mean, I was also working on a deadline, but it didn't feel like I was working on a deadline because of how much fun it was and how quick it was knitting up. So it is a cropped, somewhat boxy sweater for the front and the back, but with fitted sleeves. And she's got this cute little twisted stitches pattern. I'll stand up so you guys can see. Actually, I'm gonna kind of lean on my chair a little bit. Here we go. So you guys can kind of see the design on the sleeve. And as always, I will be inserting some pictures so that you can see what the garment looks like in natural light. This is a worsted weight yarn. The yarn that I used is actually a discontinued yarn, but it was from my stash. So yay for me for using yarn from my stash for this test knit. For those of you who are new to my podcast, hi, welcome. I have also a group on Ravelry, if Ravelry is something that you can easily access, for a stop, drop, and knit your stash thread. So everybody is posting their stash knits in there, and I will be drawing prizes occasionally. So I have not yet drawn a prize, but I will probably start getting to that pretty soon. So feel free to follow to join our group on Ravelry. It's Stop, Drop, and Knit Podcast, so that you can just search for that in the groups. And then there is a thread for the stash along. Yeah, so this was actually a yarn that is discontinued now, but it is, where do I have it? It's over here. I only had 900 yards in my stash, and the size that I chose to knit this garment in was supposed to use about 820 yards, and I actually used only 600 and something yards. I still have so much yarn left over. Not sure why, but yeah, I didn't exactly knit a gauge swatch. You guys kind of know I don't do that. I should. But I still have, so each skein is 225 yards, and I still have this much left. So like 600 yards maybe, and a little bit, 650 maybe at most. Yeah, this is 225 yards out of 900. So that's already 675, right? And then I still have this much left, so like maybe 625 yards I used, if my math is right, which I think it is. We'll see. Yeah, so I had found this yarn. It is discontinued, but it's called Harvest, and it's an extra fine merino, superwash merino, which is really important. You guys will find out why in a minute. And it was naturally dyed with black grape. And I found this at my most local to me yarn shop, the Knitting Cove in Port Jefferson on Long Island. So I didn't knit a gauge swatch, but I was knitting the back. So I figured the back is knit flat. I'm gonna just kind of use the back of the sweater as my gauge swatch, because the back of the sweater it's a pretty large swatch, which is always the best idea for swatching anyway. So I didn't wash and block it though. And so I just it's a superwash yarn, which usually grows a lot when you wash it. So I was counting on that a little bit, but when I was kind of stretching it and measuring my gauge, and it seemed like I was pretty close anyway. But I'm gonna insert a picture here of what it looked like when I finished knitting it and how small it was. Basically, this sweater fit Owen, and Owen is 6, and even Bryce was like, I know you said that you're gonna block it and that it should grow because it's a superwash yarn, but I'm looking at this sweater on Owen, and he's like, I just don't see this one blocking out. So obviously I was doing some very aggressive blocking. I actually also have just filmed a video showing how I blocked this sweater. So probably I'm gonna be releasing that video before this episode goes up. That's my plan anyway. I just have to finish editing a few things. So by the time you're watching this, I'm pretty sure that video will already be up. So you guys can like really see the sweater on Owen and how small it was on me before I blocked it. And why I was so skeptical that it would really block out to size. But I did a very aggressive block on it. I'll insert a picture of that as well. And basically what I did for blocking is what I always do when I block is I take the schematic and I figure out the size in inches for, you know, all the different measurements of, you know, the bust and the shoulder width and the arm depth and the length. And so all of that is clearly laid out in the schematic. So what I did when I was blocking it is I blocked it out to the measurements that it was supposed to be at, and I crossed my fingers that it would stay that way, and it did. Thank goodness it didn't shrink back. I was a little bit worried that, you know, because I was being pretty aggressive with the block, I was a little bit worried that it might like cinch back up. But thankfully I used a superwash yarn, and so it didn't do that. It just stayed put. So thankfully I have a sweater, and I'm super glad because I really, really love this design. And I really love the color, this black grape color. I think it's so beautiful. I'm really excited to show you the yarn that I naturally dyed with Owen these past couple of weeks as well against this sweater, because natural dyed yarn, the colors, they go so well together, and the one that I did particularly looks good with this one. It's too bad it's a different weight yarn. It's a fingering weight yarn, and this is a worsted weight, so I'm not sure if I can use them together or not. We'll see. Might depend on what kind of pattern that I choose. But yeah, so that is finished object number 1, is Earth Folk by Annie Lupton, and it is now available. I'm not sure when May 2nd is in relation to when my podcast episode will be coming out, but she does have a discount for 15% off from today through May 2nd. So that discount is on her Ravelry and on her personal website, bohochicfiberco.com. So whichever one is more convenient for you to get your patterns, I head on over there. And if you guys are interested in getting an even steeper discount on future designs of Annie's, you could subscribe to her newsletter, and she offers her newsletter subscribers a slightly bigger discount. I think it's either 20 or 25%. Whereas if you just find her on like Instagram or like her regular discount is 15. So she rewards newsletter subscribers at a slightly higher discount. So, okay, let's move on to my next finished object, which is another test knit that I did for Annie Lupton. Okay, so I did a quick wardrobe change because I figured I wanted to wear this sweater for you guys too so that you could see it on. This one is Playwright, and I finished this one. This one was released last week, I think, the 22nd, maybe? No, 16th? 22nd, maybe. I don't know. It's been released for maybe a week and a half now. And this is the one that has used a different textured yarn for the colorwork section of this yoke, which I think is so fun and so different. So I'm gonna stand up so you can see. So it's a little bit cropped. I played with the length a lot for this sweater. And there's color work also on the sleeves, and these have poofy sleeves. So I will insert some photos so that you can see better what the sweater looks like than the limited amount of space I have to really model it for you here. But okay, so the yarn that I used for this one is the same yarn that Annie used in her design, just different colors. So the mulberry color is Kelborn Woolens Scout. It's their DK yarn, and this is what the label looks like for that. And here's the label for the Woolfolk. And then the other one is this boucle yarn, and this is the light gray color, And so that's the 2 yarns together, caked up. And this one is Woolfolk Flet. And so it's FL. Let's see if I can get that to focus a little bit. There you go. FLETTE is that one. And that's in a light gray. And so I ordered these colors online, and I thought that they would look really nice together, and I absolutely love them together. I think they're gorgeous. This is a DK weight sweater, so both of the yarns, even though they're a different texture, they're the same weight, so they worked really well together. This was a really fun knit as well. I am forever going to remember this sweater as being the sweater that I was in the middle of casting on when we got the phone call about Owen's accident at school. So yeah, this is the one that I had been casting on when he had his accident and hit his head, and we had to go to the hospital and ambulance, and it was very scary. So this sweater holds that special memory. Yeah, so the design, the length of it, Annie had written the length maybe more cropped, kind of similar to the other one. And so when I first tried it on, which was before I blocked it, I was like, I think I'm going to be more comfortable in this sweater if I add a few inches to it. So I undid the ribbing of the hem and I redid it. And I added way too many inches to it, because then when I blocked it out, I had it like all the way done. The photos taken for this was like the day before the release, so this was like a week ago, I guess, last Wednesday. Yeah. And I looked at the pictures that Bryce took and I was like, I don't like the length anymore. Like now I feel like it's too, because of the poofy sleeves, which I love. This is such a fun aspect of this sweater, is all of the room in the sleeves. I love it. It also gives the sweater like it makes it more breathable and more airy. So because it's not like clinging to your skin, I think that it extends the possibility of wearing this into slightly warmer weather. Slightly. 60s, I think. I think you can't really go into 70s in this sweater, but 60s, low 60s, I'm still like wearing this sweater. Anyway, so when I saw the pictures, I wasn't happy with the length. And so it was like 10 o'clock at night and she was releasing the pattern the next day. And I was like, I really want to redo these pictures and redo the hem. And so I made it in between. I undid it again at like 10 o'clock at night. And I ripped out, like, I put the sweater, I ripped out a bunch of it, and then I went upstairs and I put the sweater on in front of my mirror, and until like an inch, because it's like the ribbing is like an inch long. So I went in front of my mirror and tried to figure out like where exactly I thought would be a good compromise with like pants that I thought I was going to wear it with. So the third time was the charm, and I did get, so I did get a length that I'm really happy with. The only thing that I forgot to do was a loose bind off. So my ribbing, my hem, the bind off is really tight. But I think that, you know, it just makes it sit kind of like right there. It's not uncomfortable. It just doesn't like lay totally flat. It like cinches in just a slight amount. But I think that fits the style of this sweater in the way that there's like just poofiness everywhere. So yeah, so this one is Playwright, and this one is also now available. And that completes my test knits. You guys, I have been working to like check all of the things off of the list of things that had deadlines and test knits and sample knits. I'm not done with my sample knits yet. So I still have 2 wraps that I have to complete for Tabbethia of Long Island Yarn and Farm. So those 2 wraps are still on my plate, but there are no more secrets. I have finished all of the secret projects. Artist's Journey I still haven't finished, but since that pattern has been released, as I work on that, I can show it to you now. It is really hard to be a podcaster and have secret projects that I can't show you guys. So, yeah, and I'm trying so hard now. There's like 2 sweaters that Annie's got. I mean, there's a whole bunch that she's got. This girl designs like crazy. I don't know how she does it, but there's 2 that I have not signed up to do, but that I really, really want to knit. One of them is really similar with the twisted stitches to the Earth Folk sweater that I'm actually going to change back into for the rest of this podcast, because this one is a little bit warm for today. Yeah, so I'm really tempted because it was such a quick knit. I'm really tempted to throw that on the needles and do that, because the twisted stitches were so fun. It was so fast. And if it uses a similar amount of yardage, I actually have yarn in my stash for that sweater. So I'm so tempted to say yes to another one. But at the same time, I'm like so relieved to have all of the test knitting off of my plate. I just had overcommitted to so many within such a short block of time, all stacked on top of one another, and all for Annie too. So, yeah, so at least I got 2 of the 3 done on time. I felt bad none of us got Artist's Journey done. I don't think a single person has finished that one yet. It's such a slow knit, but it's so fun with all that color work. So yeah, anyway. And then the other one that I'm really excited about that Annie has coming out over the summer is it's like a mosaic tile color work, 2-stranded. I think it's 3 colors, but only 2 at a time. And it's just such an interesting design. So I'm really tempted to say yes to that one too, but I'm trying not to. I'm trying to just be done. I think Bryce will kill me if I agree to any more. So I think I just need to chill out for a little bit, and I can always just buy those patterns when she releases them and knit them over the summer to have ready for the fall. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. So yeah, that completes my finished objects. So I just have 1 whip, so let's move on to whips, and I'm gonna do a little outfit change again because I'm a little warm. Okay, so I actually don't have a whole lot to show you guys for whips, because basically my whips have turned into finished objects. So I've just been putting, this is kind of pitiful actually. I have been putting a little bit of work into sock number 2, and this is my Easter sock, which is Jellybean Remix. I'll put that in front of my face so it doesn't focus on me. So these are my Easter socks, and this is what the yarn cake looks like. And this is from Knitterly Things. So this was from her, I think April 2020. Yeah, April 2020. This is her Remix Club. That's the label. And it came with a little plum, oh, that's dangerous. With a little plum colored mini right there. So yeah, I have, I think I showed you guys, last time I think I showed you guys that I had finished 1 sock, right? I think. Just in case I didn't. I think I did. But yeah, so this is my sock, the first sock. This is, yeah, I did talk about this, but I'll say it again so you guys know what pattern I'm knitting. It is my Knitted Heart vanilla socks, and what is her name? I think My Knitted Heart is her brand name, and I never remember. I'll put the designer's name on the screen here. And it will also be in the description box below this video for you guys. But it is a knit 2 purl 2 ribbing, and this is a free pattern, so I can tell you guys all about it. I should get sock blockers at some point. But so she extends the ribbing down each of the sides of the sock, so then like the front is just plain stockinette, and the back is plain stockinette, and then the ribbing goes all the way down up until the toe. So that's great for me because I have super tiny, narrow feet. So just like having that little added extra bit of ribbing all the way throughout the whole foot cinches it to my feet a little bit better for a more snug fit, which I think is great. And then it's just a slip stitch heel and gusset, and yeah. And I think that these are so fun. I really wasn't sure about these. Actually, these would go pretty well with this sweater too. I have a few tops that these would actually go really well with. So yeah, I don't remember if I had cast on the second sock for my last podcast or not, but I really haven't done any work on it. Just a stripe here, a stripe there. So not a whole lot to show you guys. And that is the only whip that I have. So I'm gonna stick this back in the bag. So Bryce was asking me, I think even just yesterday, he was like, so what are you gonna cast on next? Like, what is your next thing gonna be? And I think I'm not really gonna cast anything on. I mean, I have been talking about casting on Joji Locatelli's hipster shawl, the lightweight version. So if I do cast something on, I'm pretty sure that that's going to be it, because I already have the yarn caked up and it's all ready to go. But we got, I got an email a week or two ago from Stephanie Lupton, and she's from Jellybean Knits, and she's the designer of that garland sweater that I've been working on. And she hasn't released that pattern yet, and she was letting us know that she is looking at like a middle of May release. So I haven't worked on it, but I'll dig it out just in case you're new to Stop, Drop, and Knit podcast and don't know this sweater that I've been working on that I absolutely love. This is the garland sweater, and I am really close to having it finished. It's a test knit that I've been doing for Stephanie Lupton, and she had like a certain amount that was required for, it was like a middle of March deadline, I think. Life has just kind of gotten in the way for her and her husband, so she's just been slow releasing the pattern. And so I had met the minimum testing requirement, and because I had a whole lot of other test knitting deadlines that I had upcoming and needed to be knitting on to meet those deadlines as best I could, I just kind of stopped at that point. But now that I know that she is going to be releasing this pattern in mid-May, I totally have time, now that I've finished these other ones, to go back and knit this other sleeve. And I'm going to try it on and see how close I am to putting the hem on. And then this is going to be done. So I would actually love to actually have this as a finished object for her when she releases this pattern in a few weeks. And I think it's totally doable. I don't see why I couldn't knock out a sleeve and a hem like sometime this week. So I think that that's going to be like my next thing. I kind of want to finish. Like there are things that I really want to start, and at the same time, like I'm really excited to be able to work on like whatever I feel like now, within reason. I mean, I do still have the 2 sample knits that I agreed to knit for Tabbethia of Long Island Yarn and Farm. So those, I'm gonna get one of those done this week for sure. That's a lot of basket weave, so I don't know if I can like do that much basket weave to push to get both of those done this week. So I'll probably split that like over the next 2 weeks. So I'm going to get those finished for Tabbethia. I am planning to get this sweater done for Stephanie. And because I was originally going to put this off until either like July and do some Christmas in July knitting, which I'm still going to do, but it doesn't have to be on this sweater. I can do something else. And what was I going to say? Oh, or I was going to put it off until like closer to Christmas, like November maybe. But I think it's just going to be really nice to get this one done. And I would much rather have a finished garment to help Stephanie when she releases her pattern rather than one that is in progress. So this one is going to be very high on the priority list this week. So that is exciting, as well as the shawls for Tabbethia. Yeah, so, and of course I've got the socks that I just showed you. And then, like, yeah, I think I need to do a video of like all of my whips, because I feel like I have shown you guys a lot of things that are in progress that are still not completed, because I have this, I have the wraps for Tabbethia. I've got the sweater that I pulled out last week, the yellow and gray one. That is also a Joji Locatelli design, all the lights cardigan. That's one that I really want to get back to. And that I'm not that far along in that one. I've got like the shoulders done of that. So that's one that I'm really anxious to return to. I still need to finish the Artist's Journey sweater for that was another test knit that I showed you guys a couple of weeks ago, probably in the last episode, that I did not make the deadline for. None of us did. So that one still needs like the top of the back, a few more inches on that, and it needs both sleeves. So, you know, there are things. And then there's also like a whole bunch of projects that I feel like I've talked about wanting to start, that I even have yarn for, that I just haven't started yet. So I feel like I kind of need to go through my projects, my whips that are current whips, or that have been like placed to the side that I want to now bring back to being current whips. But now that we're in a new season, of course, there are things that I'm interested in casting on for the summer, and with lighter weight yarns and things that are not wool. So yeah, I've got to make some decisions. So I don't really know beyond finishing this sweater and the 2 things for Tabbethia. I'm not really sure what I'm going to bring you guys next, but there are so many things. So yeah, I'm always excited to show you guys brand new things instead of just the same couple of projects over and over and over again. So the next few episodes should be like especially exciting for me to film and talk about, because it'll be hopefully lots of new things coming. Okay, speaking of new and exciting things, Owen and I did some natural dyeing. So I want to move on. I guess that's another, it's not really a whip, it's kind of a finished object. I don't know. But let's move on to natural dyeing. So now that it is mid-April, it is that time of the year where we all have those dandelions sprouting up all over our yards. At least on Long Island we do. And it's like for a week, all of a sudden, like dandelions just sprout everywhere. Most people like to get rid of them. A lot of people see weeds, but I look at those dandelions and I say, I can dye yarn with those. So this is a project that I started doing with Owen 2 years ago, because this is now the 3rd April that we've done this. And oh my goodness, he was so cute. I'm going to insert some pictures like going back the years. So I'll put in some pictures here of the dandelions we collected 2 years ago, so in 2019. So Owen would have been 4 in these pictures. He was so cute. he was a much better helper than too when he was 4. He was much more eager to collect the dandelions. And then Owen and I did this last year as well. And so because I had done it 2 years in a row, I wasn't really sure that I was going to do it again this year because I already had some yarn that I still haven't used for projects, and I'll show that to you guys later because I think it's really cool to compare the different shades of yellow that I've been getting on different yarn bases. Yeah, so I wasn't sure that I was going to pick the dandelions and go through the whole process again just because I still haven't used yarn. But I did have some Green Mountain Spinnery yarn. It was a 2-ply Targhee yarn that was left over from my Elephant Promenade sweater, which was also a design of Annie's over at Boho Chic Fiber Co. And that was a test knit I did from her like 2 years ago. So I had a good amount of this yarn left over, and it was just a naturally colored Targhee sheet. So I said, you know, all right, I've got some yarn that I haven't used in dyeing before, and so I decided this time I can go through and I can document the process on video, and that is something that I hadn't done before. So I am going to be, I don't think it's going to be up on my channel by the time this episode comes out. Maybe it will, we'll see. So if it's not up now already, it will be coming out pretty soon. I filmed the process and all of the steps, kind of like a tutorial on how we dyed the yarn, or how I dyed the yarn, because it was mostly me doing it, with, yeah, from mordanting the yarn and using the dandelions and extracting the color from them and all of the steps. And so there will be a full video coming out on that, but I wanted to bring the yarn. Look at how beautiful it looks against this sweater. So this sweater is naturally dyed with black grape, and I just think this dandelion color looks so gorgeous. So I think the color actually looks better a little further back like this. And I took some pictures outside too. But yeah, so this is just a naturally dyed Targhee. Well, I mean, I naturally dyed it. It was a natural colored sheep wool that I used in my sweater. It was just a bare color. And this is the amount I had: 1 full skein, plus maybe like a quarter to a third of a skein, maybe a quarter of a skein left over from that sweater. So I don't remember how much the yardage is, but it's quite a bit. And I just think it looks so beautiful with this color. But this is like a really fine fingering weight yarn, really fine. And this is a worsted. So I don't know. Have you guys ever mixed different weights of yarn together in a project? Like, could I do that in a shawl or something like that? I don't know. Guys, let me know what you think. Have you done it? Because these two colors I just think are gorgeous together. So yeah, I mean, this was really fun, and it was a great way to, I spent a couple hours picking dandelions just out of our yard with Owen. He wasn't as helpful this year as he was in the past, but so I did it mostly on my own, but we were still enjoying the outside weather. And this is the color we got. So I wanted to also show you, because the colors are different from the previous years. And so I thought that would be really fun to see. But I'm gonna mostly, because I filmed a tutorial, I'm gonna, not talk too much about it. I'm just gonna show you what I made. So the very first year, this was one of the very first natural dye experiments I did, maybe the second or the third one. And so at that time, I was just grabbing the Patton's classic wool that Michaels sells. So this is just some worsted weight Patton's classic. I mean, I guess since I have this as a worsted weight, except I was thinking of maybe, because I have like a bunch of other naturally dyed patterns that I have done myself, I was thinking maybe of doing a log cabin blanket and mixing all my colors together. So I'm kind of dropping things. Every time, you guys, stop, drop, and knit podcast. Every time. So, yeah, so I was thinking maybe of combining all of my Patton's naturally dyed yarns into a log cabin blanket. So that's like a potential project as well. But yeah, so I mean, but these two colors do look lovely. But this is it's a little bit thicker, I think, than this one. So this was the first year, and you can see like in comparison to, so this is a Patton's wool and this is a Targhee. So you can see the different, it was the same amount of dandelions. So what we do is we collected them in a jack-o'-lantern bucket from trick-or-treating. So every year we had like the same exact amount, like 1 bucket full of dandelions. So 1 bucket full, and then 1 bucket full on these. So this is 2019, this is 2021, and then wait until you see this one. So this one was the 2020 crop. And look at how bright this is. This is also a fingering weight. This was on a, I think I want to say it's a Polworth. It's like a, this is wool tops. And this is a Polworth sock yarn is what this says. So I actually had got this natural yarn when Ellie of Skein Deer Knits was doing a destash, and she was getting rid of some naturally bare yarn. So I thought that that would be really fun for dyeing. And so this is one of them that I got and dyed. And so this one turned out so bright. So this is 2019 Patton's Classic. This one is the wool tops. And then this is the 2021 dandelions. So these are all from our backyard, 3 different bases and 3 different crops of dandelions and 3 different shades. So yeah, I just think it's gorgeous. Yellow's not like a color that I usually pick out, but I think it, like, I just love it against this color. And I just need to figure out what I want to make with this. But I think that I need to knit some of this up before the 2022 dandelions pop up, so that if I want to do it again, I can at least say, okay, I've used my dandelion yarn a little bit. So yeah, so look for the video. It's going to be tutorial style. And if you guys are interested at all in natural dyeing, it's really easy to do. It is just a slow process. It is just very time consuming. There's a lot of steps, but mostly it's a lot of like waiting. But it's good because when I'm doing it, I'm usually either knitting on something when I'm waiting or spinning something, but there's a lot of time that you have to spend like close to the stove, and then a lot of time where the yarn has to cool, and yeah. So it's just a really slow process, but it is so satisfying to take flowers from your yard and do this with it. It is just amazing. So yeah, I haven't talked too much about natural dyeing on this channel, but it is something that I really like to do every once in a while. So I'm excited to have that to share with you guys today. And for the next segment, I guess, is spinning, because I've been doing quite a bit of spinning. So let's move on to spinning. I just said spinning like 5,000 times. Spinning, 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 and a little plying. Okay guys, I am so excited because I actually started plying some of that yarn that I have been spinning. I just started plying it yesterday because I was like, I don't want to just show like another single of this yarn for like the 3rd or 4th or 5th podcast in a row. I want to show like something different with it. But okay, just because I need to cover my bases and I don't want anyone to feel left out if this is the first time that you're tuning in, this is what I'm spinning. I am spinning a unicorn. You guys can see I've gone through quite a bit of this. This was 6 ounces of Merino Stellina blend. And this was what I received from my March Paradise Fibers subscription. So I'm gonna try to show this. It's so pretty, and there is some blue, there you go, you can see that a little bit. Some blue Stellina in there, which really comes out when you ply it. And so I've been making an art yarn because the other thing that they sent in that bag was all of these wool locks, and I got the chartreuse color. So this was my March bag. It was so perfect, like St. Patty's Day with the green and the rainbow. I was thrilled. Not my normal, I mean, rainbow is totally normal, but this is definitely different. Although it looks really pretty against this sweater too. I'm telling you, naturally dyed things, everything goes with them. It's so great. Okay, so that is what I'm spinning. That's the fiber. And no, that's my ply. So, oh my God, guys, I had a tragedy happen too. I was getting finer and finer with my spinning. Because I'm doing it so consistently now, I am like now at the point where I can like inchworm my way and don't have to constantly be parking and drafting. I can actually like walk around spinning again, which is really exciting. But I got really fine and it fell and it dropped. And can you guys see that crack there and on the other side? You can see, I think, I don't know, you can see it on both sides. There's a big crack in my spindle. And this is like my newest one. I was outside spinning and it like fell hard like 2 or 3 times in a row. And then like the last time it dropped, it cracked. I was like, no. But I'm still using it. Okay, so I did a lot of plying yesterday, but this is what I have left of my singles. Somebody suggested trying to cover my face more to get the yarn to focus a little bit better. So we're gonna try that. Hopefully the camera will focus a little bit better. This is the latest one that I spun, and I'm just loving it so much. I'm getting so much better at drafting it now, and I don't think that the colors are getting muddy at all. I don't know if I'm still gonna try to cover my face and see if you guys can see the yarn at all. I actually took a little video footage yesterday, so I haven't looked at it yet. So I was hoping that when I was outside, I could get a little bit of video footage while I was spinning, so that maybe I'd have something that would be more focused to show you guys. And then there's kind of like I don't want my face in there. I don't know. A wool lock in there. I don't know why I'm holding my breath. As if holding my breath is gonna make the camera not focus on my face. I don't know. Look at that single. It's so pretty. This was one of my early attempts spinning this. And this is how it is looking. Where is it? Oh yeah. This is how it's looking. On the left is it plied together. It's plying together. And on the right is one of the singles. Trying to get like a better picture of the yarn for you guys, since it's always so hard to see. So I have, let's see, these are the singles that I still have to ply together. So I did yeah, so I've been asking you guys and kind of debating like, how should I ply this? I don't know. It's an art yarn. I was afraid that if I plied it on itself that maybe it was going to get muddy, but I decided to try it, and you guys, I love it. It looks so cool. So I'm going to show you a couple of these. See if I can. So pretty. So this is what it looks like plied on itself. And I think I'm just going to do that for all of it. I did a whole bunch. There were a few places where it broke. I already had some, I started with the smaller bits. So there goes the spindle again. I hope I didn't just get another crack in it. I'll investigate in a second, but I'm telling you guys, I drop things. I'm not usually a clumsy person. It's just on the podcast. So yeah, I have like all of these little bits that I have plied together, and it looks so cool. I'm going to show you. I just want to get my spindle. Okay, it looks like nothing further has happened to it. I'll put this over here for the time being. Okay. Yeah, so let me, I don't know which one to show you. They're all a little bit different, but they're so fascinating how it's going. I might have to just insert some. I can't like show you guys and hide my face. It's the weirdest thing. But look at that. It looks so cool. Here's what it looks like in a section that has like the green just kind of plied on a rainbow section. And it's like, it's a nice like bulky, it's a nice bulky yarn that might kind of be working. And yeah, so some of it has a lot of the green, and then other singles that I was spinning, I put a little bit less of the wool locks in them. So yeah, so this is kind of like what it's plying up to look like, and I really, really like it. So I wanted to make sure that I plied some of it together, not only to have something just a little bit different to show you guys on the podcast, but to know that that's what I wanted to do before I, before I ran out. Because I thought that, you know, I probably have like between 2 and 3 ounces of this left, right? So maybe half of it is left, or a little less than half. And so if I didn't like it plied on itself, I wanted to have the option to just spin the rainbow and maybe just card the green and either use them separately or together somehow. But I actually really like it all applied on itself. I think it looks really cool and really fun. So I think I'm actually just going to keep going and spin the rest of this up and keep doing the green locks and making an art yarn, and then just ply the whole thing just on itself. And I think that that's what I'm going to do. This is so pretty. Isn't this gorgeous? It's so pretty. And it's so soft too. So this is actually the first spin that I've ever done with merino. And I like doing it on the drop spindle. I don't have any experience because I don't have a spinning wheel. I have my little eel wheel nano that I need to dig back out. I've got so much fiber. And that's the other thing, is I'm excited to have some of these deadlines pass, because I have been having so much fun spinning again, and I have been doing it so consistently. I mentioned before, you guys, with the stash along thread, I have a thread on the Ravelry as well for spinning. It's 100 days of spinning, and that one hasn't really been active so much. A couple people early on posted, but now that I'm really spinning again, I would love to encourage you spinners. And I know that some of you are inspired to try spinning for the first time. I would love to see what you're spinning over and add your projects into that thread. The goal is not to spin for 100 consecutive days, but my idea was that maybe 100 days of spinning over the course of the 2021 for me personally would have been a big jump in spinning productivity. So I'm not at all worried about it being consistent. I would just love for you spinners to post your yarns and your fibers and things that you're spinning in there. You don't have to do a drop spindle. Doesn't have to be an electric wheel. You can do a, any kind of spindle or spinning wheel or electric wheel, whatever you have access to, would be really great. And I just want to encourage people to get spinning. But I have been doing it so consistently now because now that the weather's nice, I've been taking my spinning outside on my lunch breaks. And so I've been spinning for between 30 and 40 minutes, at least a few times a week. And I'm also leaving my spinning upstairs so that I have it really accessible when because I'm upstairs most of the day, unless, like, if I'm not, that's a lie. I'm not upstairs most of the day. But now that I'm downstairs most of the day, but when I'm needing a break and can go outside, I've been really enjoying taking the spinning outside. And so I found that if I leave it upstairs, I'm more likely to grab it for a few minutes here and a few minutes there. And I've been so much more productive, as you guys can see, and I'm really excited to get some other spinning projects going. I've got a couple of drop spindles that have no fiber on them. I've got my electric eel wheel nano, and I know the 6.0 just came out. So if you guys have that, let me know what you think. But this is what I spun. This is a BFL that I spun on the eel wheel nano. And so I still just have singles. I've kind of been waiting to get through some of my deadlines to get that plied. So hopefully I will have some more finished yarn to show you guys pretty soon once I get this beautiful blue. This is gorgeous, isn't it? So yeah, I got a Lazy Kate for Christmas and I haven't played with it yet. So I was waiting till I had a Lazy Kate and had something to put these bobbins on until I plied this on the eel wheel. So that's my next eel wheel project, is to get this plied. And then once I feel like I've got that plied, I can start spinning a new yarn on my eel wheel nano, which will be really fun. So that is all of the different creative projects that I have to share with you guys today. I have a little bit of acquisitions, and I just wanted to let you guys know that if you're not into acquisitions, it's totally cool. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for watching, and please subscribe. I think we're over 1,800 subscribers now, which is great. And I have somebody who will be sponsoring my next giveaway, which I will be excited to do after I hit that 2,000 subscriber milestone. So you guys can help me get there if you're not already subscribed. But if you enjoyed this video today, I would love a subscribe and a thumbs up, and please leave me a comment. I love hearing from you guys and getting to know you a little bit better. All right, so now I'm going to move on to my acquisitions. Okay, so after I recorded last episode, episode 20, that afternoon I went back over to Tabbethia's at Long Island Yarn and Farm. She was actually on the road. She has been doing shearing all across the East Coast and the Eastern United States, shearing everybody's llamas and sheeps. She is also doing what she calls some drive-by breeding of her llamas, which is basically like she takes her llamas and she drops it off with somebody else's llama so that they can have a little hookup and hopefully impregnate somebody's llama for breeding. And she's hilarious. If you guys, she posts all the time in her Instagram stories, and her regular wall, like her regular Instagram feed, she doesn't really keep any updates on, but she is almost every hour of the day, it seems, updating on Instagram stories. And she always is sharing animal cuteness and just funny little tidbits from the day, as well as some hard stuff. But yeah, she is a joy to follow. So go on over and follow her on Instagram, Long Island Yarn and Farm. And so she had an update at Easter. And well, I needed to go back over there because I needed to pick up the extra yarn for the sample knits, but I had also placed an order over Easter. It was not something that I was planning to do, but when I saw the collaboration that she did, I knew that I had to have a part of that and would regret if I didn't. So the first thing I'm going to show you is not yarn. It is soap, and it is a lavender soap. So my whole like bag of yarn smells delicious right now. So let's see if I can open this. So it's called Shepherdess Soap, and she had a new scent, which is lavender. And so I had picked up one of her soaps like a year or two ago, and it's just glorious. But she does a lot of body and bath type products, so it's really nice. It's really, really pretty. It smells so good. So this was like her latest scent. So I love purple, I love lavender, so I picked up a bar of soap. So that is gonna go in my bathroom at some point. But the yarn, okay, so those of you who are familiar with Tabbethia and Tabbethia's yarn know that her colors always are very muted and they're very subtle. They're either completely natural or they've got maybe a little bit of shimmer, but it's always like just a hint of a color and never like anything that is in your face. And like she's got some people that she collaborates with that do like naturally dyed colors for her, but a lot of the time it's like spun, the color is actually spun into the yarn as the, like it's not exactly dyed, it's spun, the color is spun into there. But for this collaboration, oh my goodness, she collaborated with Cake, I think it's Cake Wool Co. What is it? Yeah, Cake Wool Co. And Cake Wool Co., I have never had her yarn before, but she does super bright fun colors. Like neons bright, like totally not what you would think of Tabbethia doing. And so when I saw that Tabbethia was giving her yarn and letting people, because Tabbethia doesn't do acid dyeing, but that's the thing, is like she usually, it's either spun in there or it's like naturally dyed and it's super subtle. But she decided to step out of her comfort zone for this collaboration, and she said the inspiration was just jelly beans. And so I am in love. I think that this might become like a Stephen West shawl or something. Can you guys believe I have never ever knit a Stephen West pattern? What? So I think I need to. And last time I was saying I don't knit shawls, so I think I need to like cast on a Stephen West shawl. But so I got 5 skein. Wait until you guys see these bright colors. Like they're gonna just blow out on the screen. This is not what you think of when you think of Long Island Yarn and Farm. It is so fun. So, oh my goodness, the first one that I saw that I wanted. So there's 2 different bases that I picked up. I got all sport weight. The first one is maybe a lighter sport weight, kind of closer to, kind of in between sport and fingering. The blend, this is 200 yards of, it's 80% Surrey alpaca, 10% silk, and 10% icicle. And so this color, I wonder if it has the color on here. Yes, this is called Jewel Sour Apple. Jewel Sour Apple. And so this one, I'm gonna hold it in front of my face again. it kind of is like has speckles and sections dyed with like a whole bunch of different like neon colors. And so I knew that I definitely wanted this one. So this was like the first one that I put in my cart. Okay, and so then I was looking at what colors were in this one. And I have never before bought like a highlighter yellow yarn, but it was in this, and I knew that I wanted to pair these together. You can see the two different bases, like this yellow, it's a little bit thicker than the other one, but I think in a shawl it's gonna be just fine. So this blend is 50% alpaca, 30% merino, and 20% silk. So they're different fiber content, but they're both 200 yards. So that color is in there. It is so bright. It is awesome. The color is called Lemon Drop. So I thought that was really fun. And then, of course, purple is my favorite color. And there is also purple in this yarn. I don't think I even showed this to Bryce. He knows I purchased it, but I don't think I even showed him what I got. But so the purple is the same base as the yellow. I love purple and yellow together. Like purple and yellow flowers. It's my favorite for flowers. So I thought that like all of these would go really well together. And you can see it's like, they're like tonals too. It's not just like a solid color throughout, but that's a nice bright purple. So we've got like these three together. And then this one is the same base as the first one. So it's 80% alpaca, 10% silk, and 10% icicle. And so this one has mostly like purple and that like yellowish green in it. So I thought that, you know, those would also go really well. And then this last one, I think it could work together depending on how I pair it. But I was looking at this other one. Oh, that last one, what is this one called? So this is the last one. Up closer. So pretty. This one is called Jewel Wild Blackberry, and the purple is called Mixed Berry. I'm pretty sure that these are all sold out now. So, I mean, you guys can check. She had them in sport weight, fingering weight, and worsted weight. So there might be something there, but these all went like super fast. And then this last one I got is called Watermelon. And this is also the alpaca merino silk blend. So I thought that one was really pretty too. And this one obviously is a lot more pink. I don't know if I'll use it with all of the others, but it definitely goes, like you could definitely use it with this one too. So like I could either like pair these two together, do like these three together, or I think I could make it work like a shawl with all five. Or maybe I just want to leave the watermelon out and do something with it on its own. I don't know. But it's just so bright and happy and glorious. This one matches my lighting like perfectly. Look at that. So yeah, so I'm thinking Stephen West shawl. What ones have you guys knit? What are your favorites? I mean, I don't know why I've never knit one, because I mean, I can name a bunch like Exploration Station, Dotted Rays, the Eyeball Shawl, Slipstravaganza. I mean, there's like so many, I can name them, and I don't know. I haven't been a shawl knitter, so I haven't cast one on yet, but I'm pretty sure that that's what I'm gonna do with this yarn. So that is officially everything I have to share with you guys today for episode 21 of the Stop, Drop, and Knit podcast. If you have stayed to the end, an extra special thank you for hanging out with me all the way through. Yeah, so other videos that have either just recently come up on my channel or will be coming out soon after this episode are the naturally dyeing tutorial with the dandelions, as well as you guys can see my process for blocking this sweater and check out how well it fit my 6-year-old before I blocked it. Yeah, so I hope that you guys enjoyed today's episode. Give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment. And as always, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And I will see you guys next time. And I hope that you have a fantastic day, week, month, year, everything. A fantastic everything. I love you all. Bye.